mindfulness. A simple word that has changed the self-help industry dramatically as more and more people are becoming more aware of their mental health or experience anxiety or a lot of stress on a daily basis. It's an industry that promises to offer soothing techniques while self-care conveniently fills in the gaps. Both mindfulness and self-care are a duo that on the surface feel great and address real problems, but underneath it all lacks a lot of substance. I'll talk about self-care in more detail in a future video, but one of the glaring issues I find with mindfulness is how the go-to strategy boils down to mindfulness meditation. That or self-care stuff like Reiki or energy healing and other things like that. On one end, I get it, as meditation as a whole is thoroughly researched and is studied practice. But as many articles point out, mindfulness is about being present with yourself, and as someone who falls asleep a lot when meditating, I don't really find meditation to be all that helpful, or I would rather be doing something completely different. So instead of me pointing out the various issues with various self-help topics, I want to be doing something a little bit different. I want to be talking about some unconventional mindfulness tactics that can improve your mental health. These are strategies that I've used myself personally and I continue to use on a regular basis, and so I want to take some time to actually be sharing those tactics with you. So let's get into them. Despite how messy this can get, actually learning how to cook and bake can be helpful in so many different ways. For one, you're going to be avoiding processed foods, which have a lot of unnecessary and added chemicals and ingredients that just make your life worse. Not to mention that you'll be saving a lot of money from not having to buy a lot of frozen dinners or eating out constantly. Beyond that, cooking can be easily weaved into your own life, with plenty of recipes being helpful for those that are on a budget or just simply do not have a whole lot of time to be cooking something. But aside from all of those, it can also be very therapeutic in its own way. To me, I see cooking as a sort of an elegant dance while in the kitchen. You're moving around and putting yourself into a sort of a flow state while cooking. Not to mention as well that cooking itself demands that you focus on what you're doing in the first place, since you don't really want to be slicing up your fingers or burning your food. Cooking and baking create this environment where it demands your immediate attention and demands that you really focus in on those specific things and that you enter into this kind of calm. Beyond that, the aromas as well as the opportunity to enjoy your own food are a nice added bonus. Not to mention that cooking and baking can also transition into the next strategy that I want to be sharing with you. That next strategy being acts of kindness and connectivity.
Hey, what's wrong?
I've got a bit of a bug. Oh, and I'm a little jittery. Oh, jittery bug, jitterbug.
Wow, nice segue.
Cooking at its core is something that can be shared with other people. It's a piece of one's culture, or at the very least, personality and the way that we express ourselves. It can spark conversations on top of giving you opportunities to connect with other people. It's for this reason that why new neighbors were always greeted within communities with freshly baked pies or other housewarming gifts. It's an easy way to introduce yourself and to begin conversations and connections with other people. But even outside of cooking and baking for other people and sharing that food with other people, general acts of kindness can go a long way and connect you with other people. Even if it's something simple like carrying a grocery bag or keeping the door open for someone. A small act of kindness always sparks another.
A true, selfless act always sparks another.
Well, look who's suddenly a chatterbox. Tell me, what made you squander all those words into that nugget of wisdom?
When it comes to mindfulness, having that awareness and taking the initiative demands you act in that present moment. It also builds up empathy, which I heard is pretty helpful to have for several reasons. Another unconventional strategy that you might not be hearing that much about is doing puzzles. Whether it's Sudokus, jigsaw puzzles, crosswords, or Wordle puzzles, these unironically are mindfulness activities that are worth doing on a regular basis. While the bigger benefit is that these things sharpen our minds, the fact still remains that you need to be focused on completing these and using your brain in order to get these things done.
One thing.
And the nice thing about this is that it also applies to any kind of puzzle, not just the ones that I have mentioned. If you love puzzle video games, for example, those can work just as well. Those same can be said for strategy games. And if you feel like you're not getting enough mindfulness out of those particular activities, it's well worth asking questions such as, when I get stuck and I get frustrated, how does my body feel? When I solve a puzzle and things start coming together, how do I respond to that? Has my breathing changed since I've started doing this? How does my strategy affect my mood all around? What can I do to change it? In essence, it's kind of like a meditation technique, because with meditation, it requires you to be focusing on your breath or thinking about certain things or focusing on a specific spot. Puzzles, in a way, are able to help with conveying a very similar vibe. On top of all that, there's also just creative pursuits, like coloring, drawing, or doing crafts. Some of the self-care tactics focus around like journaling, as well as just writing, as well as writing overall. There is a case to be made to be leaning more into the artistic side and the other artistic mediums.
Look what I can do.
What? What does that have to do with anything?
No. He's got a point.
Even if you're not the greatest at those particular things, whatever you put together will no doubt be better than whatever AI slop that is plaguing the internet these days. After all, AI creators can never really fully understand what the creative process entails and how joyful and expressive it can actually be to lean into your creative aspects and create something purely from nothing rather than just prompts.
Our yellow snow here. We're gonna mix that with just another little dab of our Betty White. Now, let's just dance in a happy little sky. And remember, this is your world. You get to make and break the rules here. Sweet baby Jesus.
But putting that aside, these creative pursuits can also help with regulating your own mood and pour your emotions into whatever it is that you're doing. Sure, it might not be your best work, but it's also authentically you, and it's a way that you can express yourself. And personally, that is a good thing and a healthy thing that we should all be doing. And if all else fails, the final strategy that I want to be sharing with you is something that my child self would cringe at, and that is cleaning. Growing up, I wasn't the kind of guy that cleaned up after myself all that much. I had a messy bed, I had toys scattered all over the place. Yeah, my room was a disaster, though probably not as bad as some other rooms. I still drag my feet a little bit when it comes to cleaning up my own apartment. However, when I do get around to doing that, I find myself more at ease when cleaning and coming into a nice clean apartment. It makes a real big difference to be cleaning on a regular basis and maintaining a nice and clean space. It does a lot for your mind, and I want to be sharing that.
Done and done. And I mean done.
All in all, one of the big takeaways that I see from mindfulness is that it demands us to be playful and take our mind off of things and focus more on the now. Sure, you can be stoic and meditate and focus on your breathing and all of those other usual things that so many other articles push. But with the way the world is right now and where it's going, taking moments of joy can be little acts of defiance and can prove to be more healthy and better for you than the conventional mindful meditation practices. These can be things to help us refocus, but also remind us that our lives could actually be happier and that we should be happier. It's more or less sending a message in our own way. It might not do all that much in the grand scheme of things, but if you make a point to be mindful on a regular basis, you can see your life changing little by little. And if you focus on more unconventional tactics and things that can help you move forward and are much better than just sitting and staring at a wall, then these can culminate into something so much bigger and something more useful for you.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the entirety of this video. I would really appreciate it if you left a like on this video and also to subscribe to my channel to help with the YouTube algorithms and all that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much.